is well known by her Insta ID Mommy Shots by Amrita. So let's not waste any time and get started. Hi ma'am, it's a real pleasure to meet the person behind the name Mommy Shots by Amrita. So everything that we know of you is through Instagram and YouTube interviews. So it's a real honor and pleasure to meet you in person, if at all just virtually. So ma'am, you're a photographer who went from being a HR and to a theater artist, and from there to being photographer, and then to being a children's photographer. And how did you go on from from one step to another? And right now you're also an influencer who is campaigning for various projects like breast milk donation, and you've also done a series of photographs of acid attacks. People who have encountered acid attacks. So you're such a person. So how did you move from this to that? And you made lots of career changes. So how did your family take it, ma'am? Did they take you seriously, or did they like, okay, is this another phase of you? How did they take it, ma'am?
Okay, that's a very interesting, well-researched question, Cheryl. There's one thread running common through all of these bits that you've shared, which is my absolute love for the arts or for anything creative. As a child, I was introduced to the stage, and ever since I've always loved being on stage or performing or just using a medium of expression in any form, right? Be it artwork, be it, I don't know, just learning how to stitch in school to performing in school with singing, dancing, acting, all of it. Over a period of time when I had to take life seriously and make those big decisions, right, after college, that's where I was stuck and I wanted to become an actor. That wasn't even an option at my house because we didn't have any sort of background in the film industry, and it's very different back then as it is today. A network was important, knowing people was important. All of that was something we lacked, and so I don't think my community was exactly for something so forward at that point. So I dropped the idea of acting. Professional dancing was also a big no-no. I did pursue professional dancing on the side, but as a mainstream career, I decided to go down the management route, and I did a double master's in HR and continued to work in corporate world for about 10 years. What happened is during this time is that while I was working in the corporate world, I used to spend my evenings pursuing anything artsy, be it theater, be it Zumba instructing, be it kayaking, be it makeup artistry. I tried my hand at everything. And then the 10th thing I tried at, the 10th thing I tried my hand at was photography, where I was assisting a friend of mine with weddings. And that's why I got introduced to the world of photography. So that's how it all started. And then I realized that weddings were fun, but not as fun as I'd like it to be. I didn't enjoy it as much. And that's when it was a brainwave that struck me that I could combine two of my favorite things, which is children and photography. And I had a lot of practice at home because my sister has twins, and Pranav and Pranvi made me run around the house documenting them in all formats. So that's where the love for children and photography began. And it just came to me suddenly at the age of 28. My parents, to answer your second question, always took me seriously because I was a very good student. I was always top of the class, top of the university, top of the department. And when it came to work as well, I was excelling pretty well. I was doing really well, but I think the love for the creative art form
It never left you.
It was a constant itch at the back of my head. So I had to address it. I had to cater to it. And today I feel like I'm fully happy with what I do. So my parents understood that. They were nervous about the shift, as all Indian parents are.
Yes.
But once they saw it taking off, they've been having my back ever since.
So you didn't have to convince much right now, and you had to make these shifts.
Yeah, let's just say I only pursued things I was good at.
Okay. So you find what you're good at and you go to it.
Yes.
So that's how you found your niche, ma'am. Like child photography, because it was completely new at the time when you started.
Yes. Actually, it's been about 9 years today.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yes, and there was nobody doing child photography as a niche back then. There were people, of course, documenting children, but not full time. And that's what I wanted to cater and set out to be, just a child photographer only. And thankfully, everything's worked out well, and we managed to stick to only that genre for the last 9 years.
Yeah, this is simple. Which was your first camera, ma'am? Like, what did you invest? And also, which was your one photography event stuck to your mind, which is very remarkable and close to your heart?
I had the Canon 450D when I started out. but I very quickly switched to a full frame and bought the Canon 5D Mark IV. So I think you can say the 5D Mark IV was my first proper professional camera. And it really, I mean, you are strong, but your gear makes you stronger. And definitely have to say that I came a long way with my gear and with the experience I gathered across those years. All of those moments have been beautiful, but I think the ones that have really stuck with me are when I've seen children, two kids so far, have taken their first steps in the shoot. And I've seen the
Ooh,
parents' actual reaction where they
that's
squeal into the light. And to
uh,
be able to capture that and share that with them is super precious, because the mom will be tearing up, the dad will be all smiles, and they're
yeah.
just cheering their child on to continue walking, to keep trying. And the kid will keep falling and keep getting up, because I think it's excited by this new skill it's discovered that day. So for it to happen in a shoot is magical.
How do you handle kids, ma'am? Because I also have a niece and nephew, and they are sweet angels at one point of time, and suddenly they are human credits. The next time I can't handle. So, is it because you had your own niece and nephew at your house? But what are the other techniques that you use to calm the kids?
Okay, so it's about understanding a lot of child psychology in our profession, which is to understand what is it that will get a 3-year-old interested in talking to you. What is it that will catch the attention of a 1-year-old? What will excite a 6-month-old? How do you make conversation with a 4-month-old baby or a 3-month-old baby? That's the
Yeah.
toughest stage. And then how
What
do
do you
you
do,
calm
ma'am,
what?
with a 4 month
It's
old baby?
it's all it came to me through the years of experience. We've done about 2,000 shoots now, and what I've learned is understanding the growth and development stages of the child. So based on what their capability is, you cater to that and talk to them a certain way. And it's important for me to know all their favorite characters, their favorite cartoons, and then talk to them in their language, talk to them in things that they'll understand, that they'll relate to. And then that's how we befriend them and get them comfortable with us. The same thing with 6-month-olds. They love playing little peekaboo games. So we play a lot of that. Understanding that a 6-month-old can't see very far. They can't see beyond 7 or 8 feet or 6 feet actually. So making sure you stay close when you're interacting with them, and then you step back and you take a picture
Okay.
so that they don't miss seeing your face and what you're trying to do. So all of these little tricks really help. I wouldn't call them tricks because they're all scientific facts. Knowing all of
Yes.
this and understanding research really helps you get better at your job.
Okay, how should the parents prepare themselves before they come for these shoots?
I think in terms of prep for the shoot, we make sure that the parents know exactly what's going to happen in the shoot by giving them ample amount of information. And a lot of parents are nervous before a shoot because they're concerned about whether their child will cooperate or not. Right? They are blocking time, they're blocking a photographer's time, they're traveling all the way, they're making all the arrangements to have the shoot a certain way. So they're very nervous about so much prep that's required that goes into the shoot, and everything rests on one thing, which is the child cooperating. So the one thing I tell most parents is think of it as visiting your friend and you're bringing your child along. That's all. So you relax yourself, and if you're relaxed, your baby will be relaxed.
Yeah.
And in the shoot, of course, there are all sorts of parenting styles, and it's important for us to respect each one's parenting style. Some parents are very open and they like their kids to be wild and free. Some parents are very particular that the kids are clean and neat at all times. It all depends. It's a personal choice. So essentially, our roles during the shoot is to co-parent, understand what their parenting styles are, and then work with that. And very respectfully, check with them before doing anything new.
Okay.
Even if it means coming and tickling the baby, we get their permission. We don't simply just assume that the baby is ours to carry, ours to hold. So there's a lot of respect and a lot of boundaries we sort of adhere to while we're doing a shoot, because I think it's only fair to all parents, because everyone comes with, I think being a parent itself is such a hard job. So it's important for us to be sensitive to their needs.
Yes. Were you ever in a position where you had to explain that it's okay, it's just memories which you're trying to capture?
Because when I started out, no one would agree to do a maternity shoot. No one would agree to do a newborn shoot for the first 2 years at least, or 1.5 years. It was a big, big challenge to educate them and say, we can take these pictures, but we don't have to upload it anywhere, because these are memories for you and they can be only for your eyes. And so it took a lot of educational content that we had to be shared online in terms of behind the scene footage, or blogs, or showing pictures of other shoots to help people understand that this is a beautiful stage that we should be celebrating and not hiding and preventing freezing this memory, because what do we have at the end of our lives? It's just
Yes.
memories. And so this would be another sweet one as well. And it's a beautiful milestone.
About your initial stage, how did you approach your clients at the initial stage? How did you find your market, both here as in India as well as abroad? Because I also noticed that you started your business both in India as well as Singapore at the same time, around the same time. So how did you manage to do it, ma'am?
So the first set I put up, which was a friend from school, I documented her daughter turning 1, and those pictures, touch wood, turned out to be great, which helped me get a lot of momentum online. Thankfully, we were in the age of social media where Facebook was doing all the work for us. So everybody following my friend, see her pictures, understand what I do, followed me back, and then the demand started to build up. And the demand started to build up massively in the first 6 months, to the point that, we worked with so many families. I think we did almost 30 shoots a month at that point, which was a lot when you start out. And for me, it was double the challenge, because I was not only just trying to build my business, I was also trying to become more familiarized with photography techniques, because I had just started, as well as cater to the business coming in. So it was a lot of challenges at the same time. But it happened, the growth happened. And thankfully, what also happened is a lot of our communities in Singapore, in Southeast Asia. So I started getting a lot of messages saying, "Oh, we're coming down from Singapore, and we'd love to shoot with you when we come down." And I was very happy to hear that. But at the same time, a couple of them asked me saying, "Would you come to Singapore? We'd love to shoot here because the locations are beautiful." And I'm like, I would love that. So I started to read up on how this can be done in a more legal manner. What would I have to get? What visas would I have to apply for? Set up the company. All of that was looked into. The process to set up a company there is really simple. So I managed to do it. And we started to cater to parents or families in Singapore itself.
Okay.
And so Singapore became a 1 to 2 month affair.
I'm sorry.
That's right. No, that's right. You're absolutely right. I love to travel, so I didn't say no at all. I was excited about going there, and Singapore is now one of my favorite cities.
Okay.
Because I've seen it so many times, and I've been to all the small nooks and corners of the place. So yes, I absolutely enjoy shooting.
All of your desires, all of your hobbies, it all came together. Photography, travel, kids, everything into one now.
Yes, it did.
Another question which one of my photographer friends asked me to ask you: how did she manage? How did she start out with the funding? Because she's just starting out and she's trying to figure out. So she asked me to ask you. So this is for her.
Okay. The first thing I did was, when I was quitting my corporate job, I made sure I saved up about 6 to 8 months of my salary, completely pushed it aside, knowing that, in case this entire business fails, I have some savings to fall back on, and also a way to just come back to the corporate world if I needed to. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But the savings helped me get across with my initial investments, which was a camera, right? Everything else was either done by hand, or, when you want something, you'll find a way to make it work. So that initial investment was taken care of with the camera. And then after that, it was, thankfully, because of the kind of work we did, I got a lot of inquiries, and that helped build the business capital itself. And till date, we are completely bootstrapped. That is, all our earnings are what help run the company now. And today we're a team of 10 people. So we still manage to run a business that isn't funded by anyone or by an investor per se. So yes, I'm hoping this goes on for a longer time, because we've managed to hit all our milestones that we planned for. And I think that also it really comes down to who is running that business and how they run it, the determination, the perseverance, the having that will to take it all the way and make sure it works out positively is important.
How did you manage your clients when your enterprise started growing? You started getting more clients, right? So how did you deal with the clients and the location and everything?
What I did with all of my clients is to make it as comfortable an experience as possible. Be it finding locations, be it styling, be it the kind of pictures they want. I was their go-to person to talk to. I didn't have a team at that point, And so I help them on all aspects. But that helped me today because now I'm strong in all of those aspects, and I have a team, and it's very easy for me to spot if something's off. So it's important to gather that experience in every possible field and be an expert at these things before you let go and have a team take over things.
Okay.
Right. And I think the other thing that really helped me was having a network in the photography space. I would constantly talk to other photographers, ask them how they did things, took advice. Making sure you're humble enough to go out there and ask for help when you need it is really important as well.
Yes.
So that you can actually learn on the go and keep doing what you do or what you love to do.
Ma'am, another doubt. So how did you build your team, ma'am? Like all women team. So it's because yeah. So how did you do that, ma'am? About your team, can you tell us a few words about your team?
I think I put up a message on Instagram and I said I'm looking for team members, and 2 people wrote to me. And that was that. I mean, I was happy to take them on board. And I realized that, okay, I've got 2 women on board with me, which is great, but I think I should start giving more opportunities to only women because this is a male dominated space. And I think we have to do what we have to do for our own kind, right?
Yes, I'm going to hold on to that thread and ask you another question. How do you balance your work and life? Where so if one goes up, then the other goes down. So how do you make that balance?
I was very bad at it for a long time. I just started to improve that over the last 1.5 years. That's absolute honesty. But now I think it's about making sure I have some me time every day. So even if it's 1 hour in the morning where I have my my training that happens in the morning, that gives me a lot of mental stability for the rest of the day. Otherwise, I get tired very quickly during the day because our job is more of physical labor and a lot of mental application behind the scenes. So it's important to just get that some amount of physical activity in. And the other things being making sure I take a day off at least once in 3 weeks or once a month, whenever I can. It's hard to detach, but I'm trying. Yeah.
I realized that you have written a book on social media marketing. So
Yes.
why and how did that book come out?
So coming to your question about the social media book, I think it's always it goes hand in hand with learning or teaching photography. And I've been teaching photography for almost 8 years now. And the interest to teach or give back is something that's always been with me since I was younger. Helping others, it's just part of who I am. So I noticed that a lot of photographers had great work out there, but it wasn't being published or being shared on social media as it should have. And I realized that understanding social media is a challenge for a lot of people, which is where the idea to start a little ebook on social media came into play, and we wrote 2 books. But this interest to teach is what helped us create Mommy Shots Academy, which is basically an academy online where we've created resources from scratch to help other photographers accelerate their growth with child photography. So all the mistakes, all the research, all the learnings that I had in the last 8 years have now been summarized into all these beautiful modules online that anyone can watch from anywhere in the world. So today we have over 6,000 students from across 24 countries, if I'm not mistaken, who have downloaded our resources and have learned the art of child photography from us.
That's really amazing, ma'am. The desire to give back to the society is beautiful. So are you a person who is into sustainable products and sustainable kind of living?
I haven't been for the longest time, but I have become a lot more conscious in the last 2 years. So avoiding plastics wherever I can, carrying my glass bottle around instead of buying distillery bottles on the go. To these small little changes have been made. I now use bamboo toothbrushes. Even my clothing choices are slowly moving to more sustainable brands. So I feel like that shift is happening. And it's a big shift, right? You can't change it overnight. You need to slowly absorb into this new way of living. And I do believe that it also comes with time, where you start to respect what the world is giving you and how you need to give back as well. So it is a shift, a conscious shift, and it's slow, but it is happening.
There's a reason behind this question. Like the reason why I asked you is because at Oriali, what we do is, apart from just being looking for sustainable products, we look for people who are into handicrafts and handmade products.
Can I add something to this? In
Yes.
fact, we've actually added sustainable props into our shoots as
Oh,
well.
okay. Thanks for
So
helping me out there.
I don't know if we can use this, but this is what we did yesterday. And I wanted to show it to you. We did this with actor Knuckles' wife, Shruti. So we were supporting local artisans, and we used all the products that they make, the cane furniture, the baskets, the lamps, and we created a whole setup for her maternity shoot from that. So I'm just going to show you here.
Wow.
You see that?
Beautiful. Yes.
Right? So we set the whole thing up for that. These are pictures I'm going to release in about a day or two. But we're super excited about it because what we were doing is supporting local artisans and making a very sustainable setup over here as well. And so the fabric in the background is khadi, and what she's wearing is also a khadi dress. So everything came together beautifully for that particular shoot. But yeah, these are choices we're slowly making and trying to see how we can shop locally rather than internationally for our props, for our equipment, our gear, everything.
Well, Oriali is just that. It's basically, the tagline is shop local. So the thing about Oriali is, here you can find all these local artisans who are into handicrafts and handmade jewelry, artwork, everything handmade. And also you can also find other people who are have started their business right from their homes. So this is what we do at Oriali. So we enlist them at Oriali so that people who want these products can go and shop them directly from the makers.
Amazing. I'm actually going to go back and check and do a deep dive into the website and see where we can connect with these artisans and how we can shop from them. But thank you so much for that.
And thank you very much for doing this for us, ma'am. Thank you very much for this interview. It was a real delight in having this talk with you. I'm really happy to have had this conversation. I was nervous at first, but then as I started talking to you, I don't know how the nervousness, the thing faded. Maybe it's because you made me feel comfortable. You
I'm
are
glad
such an amazing person inside and out from this conversation, from what I've heard, and it's amazing to have had this conversation with you. Thank you very, very, very much, ma'am. Thank you
so much. Thank
I hope you enjoyed the talk. For more such coffee talks, stay tuned in this coffee space. Since my coffee is Kali, I have to go now too. Until Akshay decides to sponsor coffee for the next time, bye-bye.